after the Enterprise, obviously. And I say that is... It's Star Trek in nature, but less... I mean, like, it doesn't... The whole Xindi plot kind of takes away the Star Trek nature part, because...
For that season, it's really, really...
all about survival.
Yeah.
And it's... And
it's really unclear, like, what the plan is from the Xindi 2, which is a little frustrating. They throw all this kind of shit against the wall. Let's send a tiny probe out to fuck up, like, part of their world, and then... Okay, now we're gonna wait fucking forever while we build a bigger one once we've given them a ton of warning that we're coming. There's no way they could possibly use that time to prepare or do anything. That really frustrates me.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's really it's the opposite of Monster of the Week kind of serial. And it also has some of the kind of darkest shit that a captain does. I mean, there are hypothetical things that Voyager does in these dream sequences, or not the dream sequences, but the alternate, like, timelines that we experience. And we also see what Captain Ransom does in one of the episodes or a two-parter, where another ship got caught in that same wake, in the same caretaker time portal, only they were much less equipped to deal with it, much smaller complement. So they made some really, really shitty choices, and you see how far they were willing to go to save themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond those kind of weird glimpses, and it's not really a Star Trek, like a main character doing it, Archer actually does some dark stuff. He steals technology from another ship, the warp core, and leaves them stranded, years away from their planet. Like, oh, it's okay because we need this really badly. Events like that where Archer has to make the I will do anything to save my planet decision, as opposed to the I am going to be noble captain of the Enterprise decision, like Picard probably would have done. But obviously, this is the beginning of space exploration, and I really wish they had gotten 5th and 6th and 7th seasons like they had been planned, because I think they actually were going to get back to a mission of exploration, rebuild, founding the Federation, all that stuff was going to be pretty awesome, I thought.
Yeah, it had a lot of potential, especially after Season 3 with the Xindi plot finally over. Like, Season 4 is much better, even though Season 4 annoyed me at the very beginning, because, it's like time travel crap right there, and, at the end of Season 3, he wakes up and there's Nazi aliens, and...
Oh, yeah, oh my god. I mean, I kind of, like... I love... The episode is so cheesy and out of nowhere that it almost works for me, because it's just like... I don't know. Fuck it. Let's see if this. Let's bring them back to alien Nazis from TOS. Like, if that's not TOS, man.
Yeah, but it isn't.
What is totally off the wall. If you take away the time travel thing.
Yep. No, but those Nazis were still Nazis, not aliens.
No, they're okay. But they were like on an alien world. They weren't humans. Were they ostensibly?
Well, no, but the
aliens of some way.
No, but it was introduced to that. It made sense why. The writers were smart enough to have it make sense for why this society was modeled after Nazi Germany.
Because it's a mimicry society that never progressed. And how does it how does it have this much context or contact with other worlds to mimic them constantly? And why did he think that Nazi Germany, I mean, how bad of a historian was he that he actually thought that Nazi Germany was the greatest moment of production in human history? They mortgaged their future on lies and a war that they couldn't afford to keep going. There was no, like, great industry. They were bankrupt before they started, and they just they just stole a bunch of shit and used slave labor. That's not the right lesson you should take from that. So that's a dumb episode, even though I love it.
Okay, I could argue with this, but I think.
But you can't really argue with the fact that the historian took the wrong lesson from history and tried to bring the Nazi regime.
Oh no, yeah, it's definitely the wrong lesson, yeah. But it's the wrong lesson. I'll agree with that. What comes after Enterprise?
Well, after Enterprise, we didn't have much. I mean, Futurama makes the joke, way to kill the franchise, Bakula, because we didn't get a Star Trek revival again until the Kelvin timeline movies, really.
Oof. And that's definitely not Star Trek. I mean, in any respect, that's J.J. Abrams being like, I don't even know what to call it.
I mean, thankfully it's in a different timeline, so we can just roll with that shite.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to admit, when it came out in 2009 or whatever it was, I loved it seeing it in theaters. I loved it as an action movie.
Yes, yes.
I don't think it classifies very well in the annals of Star Trek moviedom. I don't think it competes with the likes of The Wrath of Khan or This Voyage Home or The Undiscovered Country, for sure.
Little point of clarification, it's a lowercase a, not an uppercase A when you say annals.
I know.
Just when you said that, my eyes just flared. I'm like, I have to say something about this. This is just, I can't leave this alone. But no, yeah, you're right.
It really wasn't intentional, but I was not going to correct it because I thought it was funny.
It is funny, but I'm, you know me, I am a pedantic motherfucker at times. Yeah, okay, so the first Kelvin movie is definitely not, I mean, like, it's just like a...
Well, I don't think any of the Kelvin movies. I mean, honestly, I don't remember the third movie that well anymore because it's been a while.
Well, the third movie is probably the best out of all three because it's the closest to Star Trek, which is not saying much because it was like, I mean, you know, it was a rewritten script after a rewritten script, and Simon Pegg came in at the last second to try to salvage it. I mean, it was a clusterfuck. And like Crawl did not make sense. What he was doing did not make sense. But at least they tried to give it some more, like, introspection about, you know, how difficult it is doing 5 years, do a 5-year mission. Like, it failed to do it properly, but, like, at least they tried, which is the nicest thing I can say about it.
And it did give the Kelvin Timeline universe its 5-year mission.
Yeah. And I guess the best thing you can say about the last one, whatever its name was, I'm kind of struggling to remember right now what they even called it. Oh, Star Trek Beyond. That's what they called it. It was better than Into Darkness, because Into Darkness was just really bad.
You didn't like Benedict Cumberbatch and Badmiral, you know, like duking it out against Spock and Kirk. Like that was not the most like introspective, deep, soul-searching, exploring the galaxy and the depths of the human consciousness Star Trek for you? Because, man, I don't know. It really scratched that just for me.
Well, I guess you are more of a simpleton than I am.
Yes, my brain only consists of smooth muscle tissue.
No, yeah, Into Darkness. That was just bad. Like, I mean, I kind of liked it when I first watched it. I mean, I was young and not thinking critically, but I remember liking it when I first watched it. But now, I can't watch it without fucking cringing. Because it's just everything about Khan is wrong. I mean, everything about the movie is wrong, actually.
I mean, I don't even understand why they would try to recast Khan. Like, dude, it's so iconic. And if you're going to recast Ricardo Montalban, get someone from fucking Eastern Europe who looks kind of like him or sounds kind of like him or something. Like, you know, when you recast Chekhov, you didn't look for, I don't know, a Swede. And when you recast McCoy, well, you looked, oh shit, you hired an Australian. Well, you fucked that up too.
Yeah, but at least Carl Urban can fucking act.
Yeah.
I mean, no. Whoa. I take that back. No, Benedict Cumberbatch can act, but he fits the role. That's the way I meant it. Like, wow, that came out wrong.
He's just nothing about Khan in that movie was anything like Khan in Space Seed, TOS, or in The Wrath of Khan. I mean, but technically they share a name.
Yeah.
But, you know, are you sure it's not spelled differently? Like, because fuck. I mean, I really appreciate them bringing it back, though, because here's what it did, for better or worse. It probably opened the door for the television renaissance, if you want to call it, that it did usher back in.
Okay, well then that is not a good thing.
And when I say television renaissance, it brought Star Trek back to the small screen again, the streaming screen in this case, or even possibly a limited time for Discovery on CBS network air stuff. So it did get Star Trek back in people's minds.
Wait. When you mean get back in Star Trek, do you mean like it allowed the old shows to be resyndicated and aired, or are you talking about the new shows that sprung up in its wake?
A little bit of both, you know. I mean, there was a ton of time, there was a lot of rights disputes about where Star Trek was going to go now, because Netflix had it, and Amazon wanted it, and Paramount was like, man, I need to get in on this, and we know Star Trek is a huge IP, so why don't we
ruin it?
Snatch back all the rights back for everything. Not snatch back, but not renew any of the streaming licenses for any of those shows. This was the beginning of the downfall for like Netflix, I think, when shows were like, we want to bring back Star Trek, for example. I want to have it on my own streaming platform because I'm Paramount and I own it. No.
This wasn't that's not the downfall of Netflix. That's the downfall of fucking quality streaming services.
Okay, fine. That's a good point. Better than I made it, but same spirit.
Sure.
And,
All right, but then going back. Okay, then
and so they were like, okay, what we need to do that is we need to now also create a show that'll stream on here too. And they came up with Discovery that started limited time on CBS and then went to their new streaming service.
Okay, yeah. Well,
so that's
Discovery is just awful.
You know what? I really can't comment on Discovery because it had so little appeal to me when I watched the first episodes that I actually didn't watch it. This may be the only Star Trek that I didn't watch.
Yeah, I watched the first 5 episodes of season 1, and I wanted to.
And now that I say that, I feel like I'm possibly negligent. You know, I'm commenting on Star Trek, and I have an incomplete catalog in my mind.
Yeah, but no. I mean, okay, theoretically, we might be in the wrong here, but I kind of doubt that they even got it into a semblance of back on track, just based on the little bit of the first season that I do know.
And I don't know why as soon as they redesigned the Klingons again, I was like, those look like, I don't know what they look like, but Klingons have a pretty unique style in my mind, you know?
Yeah, they massively fucked it up.
It's the TNG style, honestly. They really did the Klingons well.
Yeah.
And that's what I think of. I mean, even the TOS Klingons sort of.
Yeah, the TOS Klingons are rough.
They look funny, you know.
They do.
I'm sorry, they don't have that the forehead ridges and Gowron's crazy eyes and everything. No, come on.
Yeah, the TOS
that's the good shit right
there.
The
TOS Klingons are just, you know, supposed to be swarthy Soviets.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Discovery is awful. Strange New Worlds is an abomination in my mind, especially when you're talking about season 1. Because that is the
abomination.
Yes. Because all of season 1 is basically every
just
single fucking episode is taking one person and giving them a retarded backstory. So just take the crew. I mean, the bridge crew right now. Pike's the only one that's acceptable because in TOS you know his future in the menagerie. So you know he's going to, you know, become a beep, beep, beep dude. So you know that's...
it's really sad that that's the height of technology that they aspired to in the 60s. We're going to keep this thing alive and it's going to be communicated through beeps. Not like in a complicated Morse code kind of way. No.
Just yes and no. Yeah, it's fucking pathetic.
Oh, man.
So, like, that part is... So that part's okay. But then you have, like, number 1. She's an Illyrian, so she's genetically modified, so she has this, you know, huge secret that she needs to keep in her back pocket. So no one knows until it's finally outed her, and then she has to do this stupid trial where the summary of the trial is that she basically is applying for asylum, and under that argument, she can no longer be charged with like breaking Federation law, even though she absolutely did by lying.
So why is that episode worse than, I don't know, Measure of a Man?
Yeah, you didn't let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
Because I didn't say that episode is bad. That's in season 2.
I thought you were using that as an example of a bad
episode.
No.
No.
I actually think it's a really good episode.
No. I'm using this as an example.
Okay.
I'm like, no. This is to establish the pattern. So that's number 1. The security officer, La'an, however you want to pronounce her name, just happens to be an augment from descendant from Khan Noonien Sung, which bridges a whole other problem in lore because, you know, no one knew that those people had vanished. It was kept deliberately off of the history books. You learn this in TOS. Like, so she has this huge backstory that also doesn't really do much for the character. The chief medical officer and the chief, like, nurse have this massive war story. One of them is a badass assassin who is the Butcher of Jagal, who, you know, killed a buttload of Klingons and didn't want to take credit for it, so he let...
Come on, I would watch an entire show based around Mbenga and like a MASH-like situation where he and Chapel are the main characters. I would watch the shit out of that.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't be Star Trek. It'd be like MASH in space, but I would watch the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So you... And he also has a daughter with, like, this incurable disease that he's keeping in stasis in the transporter.
It's like Mr. Freeze in Batman. There's precedent.
Yeah, there's precedent. Yeah, sure, whatever. The chief helmsman also has this massive war story background with the Klingons and, you know, being an infantry soldier, so she's got kind of PTSD to fuck. Okay.
Yeah, they all seem to be kind of like battle hardened.
Yeah, and we have either battle hardened or Uhura. Her family just miraculously happened to die in a shuttle explosion, leaving her all alone, making her feel aimless and wandering around the world in Starfleet to see if she can find a purpose. So each, I mean, like the season 1 is basically
and she's
an episode.
full of self-doubt as well.
Yeah, exactly. So each episode is full of each episode is basically, I mean, in season 1 picks one character and just gives them this massive backstory. With, I mean, and like the odds that every single person has all these things culminating together in the bridge crew is just ludicrous. I mean, like, I know we all...
For comparison's sake, let's take a look real quick, because I don't disagree with you, but I do want to do this as a thought experiment. Let's look at the backstories that we know or think we know about the bridge crews of previous iterations. So let's... TOS. Kirk has a pretty normal upbringing in Iowa. His father was in Starfleet as well. His brother Sam dies on a research post, but this doesn't precede his captaincy. This is concurrent to it.
Exactly.
And his father lives to see him become captain of the Enterprise. He has a pretty normal upbringing. There's a lot of trauma there, is there? Correct me if I'm missing it.
Not that I can remember, no.
And this is not Kelvin.
No, this is not Kelvin timeline bullshit. This is real.
Now, Spock has a bit of a more traumatic background. It is actually cataloged somewhat in the animated show as well, which is still TOS in my book. Same writers. I mean, DC Fontana has her fingerprints all over that show. To its great credit.
Yes. The animated show is definitely Star Trek. So you get to see that. Yeah, like his backstory, a little more of his backstory. The struggles.
He is half human, half Vulcan, so he has the emotional journey that he goes through there.
Yep.
And you see parts of it as a child. You see parts of it when he loses his emotional stability in TOS. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff there that informs who Spock is. So he's got a bit of a backstory for sure. You know, his father is a very, very high-ranking, well-respected member of Vulcan, including of its government. He's an ambassador, etc. So
yep.
Big boots to fill.
Yeah, big boots.
He's got a weird half-brother who runs away looking for God and finds humor. So that's a thing too.
Yeah, that's a thing too. We'll leave that one as an aside.
All right, let's see. Sulu. Do we know anything really about Sulu's background? He fences.
Yeah, he fences. But I don't think,
And I guess he fancies himself a bit of a swashbuckler, according to the Naked Now episode, I guess?
Yeah.
McCoy.
He's just a good country doctor.
He's a doctor, not a bricklayer, Jim.
Yeah.
Is his backstory. I think.
Yeah, he's kind of a Luddite to a certain respect because he doesn't like teleporters, which I completely understand. I wouldn't like.
But he does really enjoy modern
medicine
and technologies. So he's both with the times and also a throwback to like country doctor sort of thing.
Yeah,
you know, rough country doctor from I don't know the South. I can't remember where exactly he's from.
Wherever mint juleps are popular and signet rings. Scotty is just like a really good engineer who doesn't have like a massive backstory that informs everything he does. Most of the main characters are main characters who might have some like things in the background, but it's mostly for like their decision making and who they are in the show, like as you get to see them, that makes you root and like them. But in Strange New Worlds, adding
Everyone's
a backstory,
got a traumatic backstory.
Yeah, it doesn't add anything to their story. If anything, it detracts from it because you're kind of left wondering, like, all right, cool. Why do I care? What is your purpose here?
Well, here's my problem with that kind of stuff with backstories that inform the people. It's the same problem that, with the Clone Wars. The Attack of the Clones. There's way too big of a time jump between episodes 1 and 2, and they tell us that these things happen and they're good friends and have been through many travels, but we never see them. So when you start a show out saying this person has a traumatic backstory, and that is the thing that they are overcoming, you are already starting out with a show me, don't tell me, or fail. You're already telling me what their problem is, and then telling me that they are going to overcome this. That is their character arc to start out. They have this trauma, and they are going to overcome it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it's kind of lame. It's more interesting to see them actually face a challenge presented to them in real time in front of you, and then they overcome that. And then maybe that somehow they learn from that and are able to better understand themselves in the past too. Cool. Show that kind of character growth. I like that better.
So season 1, especially Strange New Worlds, annoys me. Season 2 is a lot better. It's not, I still wouldn't really consider it Star Trek because it doesn't feel like it. But it
found its footing.
It found its footing a lot more. Lower Decks is the anime or like cartoons always get like a weird sort of pass with the rules for me. But it is very Star Trek-y in the respect that it is, you know, episode, like, it's always episode of the week, what's happening, you know, it's all.
And then it has a couple overarching kind of themes, you know, Mariner and her mother, right, her family in general, and her Starfleet career.
Yeah.
Boimler and his, you know, confidence and his sucky-uppy nature. They're overarching things, but yeah, it's short, episode of the week, fun Star Trek.
Yeah.